maybe I'd want to put in some decorative fill quilting in behind this. So see this icon right here under wizards, it says background fill. Click on that. And now a decorative fill, we'll get into all of these others later, but right now we're just working with decorative fills. It's selected. But whenever you do that, you then have to select the area you want to apply a decorative fill to. For instance, if I just click here, since there's nothing in here to prevent it from filling, it will fill the entire screen, and that's okay for right now. Then we'll click on next. And then that's the default decorative fill, but maybe you want to use a different one. Okay. So the offset, this is set at 0, that's the spacing from an embroidery design to where the stitching ends and begins. If I turn this up a few notches, let's turn it up to 0.01, a tenth of an inch, and then click on the update key, watch what happens. You can now see a little outline around that, okay? Let's click it up a little bit more. Let's go to 0.15 and update it again. There we go. Now that's separating it a little bit better. And this number right here, this is kind of like the zoom. We're going to set the zoom percentage in IQ. This is how you can actually make the background fill pattern larger or smaller. If we go up, it was at basically 4, let's go up to 6. And we'll hit update. And see how much larger this pattern got. On the reverse side of that, it was on 4, let's go to 2. And update, and it'll just make that pattern tighter and smaller. You can select a different pattern by clicking on this, and in palette there are 54 different decorative fill patterns built into it. The Destiny and the Altair and Meridian have 15. The Solaris now has 42. If you have the Solaris 2, there's 42. If you have the original Solaris with both upgrade kits installed, which is what I have, you would have 42 as well. You scroll down, notice this is pattern 01. We go all the way down, pattern 54. Oh, but what's this? You can also create your own decorative fills. We're not going to be doing that tonight, but we'll be doing that during this course. Yes, you can have an unlimited amount of decorative fills by simply creating them yourself in palette. And it's a lot of fun to do. So to preview this, I'm going to click on OK. And there's what that would actually look like stitched out. And I'm just going to back that out, but that's how you would basically use the background fill wizard to use one of the decorative fill patterns. And I'm going to go back one step, get rid of it. We're going to go back into this background fill area. Because a lot of people, they want palette just for this one feature. And then most people are really surprised to find out, wow, there's a lot more I can do than just, especially a quilter. If you're into making quilts, this is a really important feature to utilize in palette. But even if you're doing decorative embroidery, oh my goodness, or home decor, there's so many things you can do with this. So that was what the decorative fill was all about. Let's go to the echo fill. So I'm actually going to cancel this and get rid of this. I want to bring in a different shape to illustrate this one with. Don't want to change it. So there's that, remember in the wizard, the shape thing? Well, here's another way to get to shapes. There's that heart. And as if you notice, there is the motif stitch I had selected earlier. It will be there until you change it. I'm just going to put a zigzag stitch around it this time, just for illustration purposes. I'm going to go back to my home screen. I want to center it. There we go. And now I'm going to add background fill. Go to the background fill wizard. And now I actually can select, if I want to use the decorative fill again, check it out. I can apply a decorative fill to the inside or the outside, because a lot of times you might want a different decorative fill in here than what's out there. You have to add them one at a time. For instance, inside of here, next, click on the little drop-down menu. Let's put this one in there. Click on OK. Pretty, eh? But notice now it's not going all the way to the edge. You know what? That kind of looks cool. I kind of dig that. But let's lower that offset spacing. Let's go down to 0.08 and update, see what that looks like. I like that a little better. So we're going to leave that one there. And then we're going to click OK. And it just applied that to the center of that heart. Now what we're going to do, though, we're going to go back to background fill, decorative fill, and I'm going to select all the area around the heart this time. Select next. Wow, you can't even tell anything's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to select a different pattern that's not quite so busy. Let's see, maybe these diamonds. Let's select the diamonds. That's much better. And maybe I want the diamonds, do I want them that big? I think I want them a little bit bigger than that. I'm going to go up to 2. Update. I like that better. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let's go up to 2.5. Update. Getting there. Let's say that I was happy with that, and I click with OK. And there's what that would look like stitched out. Pretty cool. So next, though, let's go backwards. I want to get rid of this one out here, and we're going to go back to the background fill, and we're going to echo around that heart this time. So I click the echo. I'm going to click the area I want echoed. Next. And then I have 2 different types of echo that I can choose here. So that is just a regular echo and the echo clipped. This is the one I personally prefer. An update, because to me, that's what an echo looks like. It's like the ripples in a pond. Pretty cool. You can actually change what type of a stitch you're going to echo with. The running stitch, the triple seed stitch, or the chain stitch. Chain stitch kind of looks cool too. The triple stitch, just a heavier straight stitch. There's the running. The offset spacing, very important. That's how much space there is in between the ripples. So that's set for 1/2 inch. If I set it to 1 inch, update. What if I set it to 2 inches? Update. Let's go to 1.5. There is a reason I'm doing this. Okay, we're going to leave it right there, I think. No, we're going to go back down to 1. Update. There we go. And I'm going to click on OK. And as cool as that is, I use this a lot when I'm doing a custom quilting design for a customer. So check this out. I'm going to click on background fill again. And now I'm going to go back to decorative fill. And now I can select any of these other areas to apply a decorative fill to. So notice that would be the third ripple out. Click next. And if I want, that kind of looks cool, right? I'm going to select something different because I can. Let's go down. I'm going to select that one and OK. And we'll select something else. And since that is a small area, you don't want to pick something terribly tight and busy because it's so small. However, how about this one? There we go. I'm going to leave that one in there. And then we'll click on OK. We'll preview that. Now I can keep adding different decorative fills around my original heart. So check it out. Ooh, well, that's interesting. It actually won't let me do that, will it? So let's just cancel that out. We're going to back it up one. And then we're going to go back in here. Let's do a stippling stitch. So if I want to fill a stippling, we all know what stippling is, probably. But if you go from the beginning, you can do every other one and get some pretty cool effects. So let's do that and hit next. And that doesn't look so great, but that's only because we need to make our spacing smaller. I had it set for 1/3 of an inch. So we're going to make it pretty tight and update 0.08. And if you did that with the smallest stipple, I think that is the smallest I can go. It is. What that would do, it would make these unquilted ring, it would give it a trapunto effect. Because this is going to compress your batting down. And these parts in here that aren't quilted will make it nice and fluffy and poofy. So a pretty cool effect to do with that as well. This is a way to get a trapunto effect in the hoop. Okay. So I'm just going to click cancel. And we're going to go back to background fill again because we've done echo, we did stippling. Now the cross hatching. Let's click on next, and we're just going to put cross hatches on this one ring. And we'll do a couple. And next. And then once you select next, you have several choices for cross hatching. Let it catch up. There we go. It didn't like that for some reason, so we're going to make it do it again, I think. Actually, no, we won't. We're going to clear this. Cancel. New. No. And this time, though, I'm going to bring over an embroidery design. Let's say, let's go down here to decorative patterns. No. And I'm going to do fruits. And how about a strawberry? And we're going to hold down the control key and enlarge this. Now, another way to enlarge, since I just said enlarge, I will get back to that in just a moment because I want to finish my train of thought. What I'm going to demo is show you is how to use the crosshatch feature on background fill, crosshatch stripes. So you can either do stripes or crosshatches, which is pretty cool. Next. So as you see here, crosshatch, okay, or stripes, update. And that's not that great looking. However, if we take that offset all the way down and update it, that would look a little better. But what's really cool is, see this thing here that says direction and this red arrow pointed that way? When I hover over that with my mouse, it turns into a circle. If I hold down my left mouse button, I can move that arrow. And what will happen there, it will change the direction of the stripes. Update. And now see they're at a diagonal. You can also set in the degrees right over here. Let's say you wanted them at 75 degrees. Update. Where I was at was basically 45. So it puts it at a nice angle. And just like with the stippling where it says size right here, this is actually the spacing in between the stripes. Just set it to an inch. Put in a 1, update. Now, that being said, if you flop over to Crosshatch, click on update, it remembers these settings I have here. So these are 1-inch crosshatch squares. Maybe like crosshatching, let's use 0.5 and update, which looks pretty cool with this one. When we first opened it up though, this was set to 0 degrees. And what that does, it makes it look like a bunch of little boxes. By rotating this to 45, you get a more like a diamond effect, which is really cool. So as you can see, there's lots of ways to actually modify that to get whatever type of an effect that you're wanting. Okay. So another thing I want to talk about, just get rid of all of that. Now, and notice when I did the import, it automatically centered it. So you see me use my mouse and my cursor and the control, holding down the control key to resize stuff, right? There's another way to do this. Maybe you want to resize something to a specific size. This is the best way to do that. Highlight what you want to resize. Go up here, we're on the Home tab, Edit. See where it says Size right there? Click on Size. Bring this down closer to the screen. And now you can resize it by a percentage. For instance, this is 100%. If you wanted to double it, put in 200% and hit preview. Okay.
Will it adjust the stitches doing this?
If you have this box right here selected, keep density and fill pattern, which I did not have selected. So let me just do a Control Z, oops, cancel. And now it just reset it back. So when I hit that size button again, if you put keep the density and fill pattern and hit preview, and let's put it up to 200% and preview. What that does is just like holding down the control key and dragging. If you do not have that highlighted, it will not readjust the density and fill pattern. The maintain aspect, it is currently checked, but let's say you wanted to skew a design. Maybe you want the width at 200, but maybe you want the height at 400%. Update, see what happens, see how it elongated it. And that's what the maintain aspect ratio does. So I'm just going to cancel that so it goes back to its original. And I'm going to hit that size button again. I'm going to bring it over here so it's closer to our work area. So maintain aspect is selected, keep density and fill pattern is selected. But maybe you want to change the size of it to a specific size. And since I have this machine currently set for inches, if I select this one, I can now, for the width, so I have a 9.5-inch embroidery area here. Since maintain aspect is selected, if I put in 9 here, 9 inches, it's automatically going to change this number to keep the aspect ratio the same. Hit preview, it's working. And now it's 9 inches wide, like I told it, and it automatically set it to 7.92 inches in height. Once again, if I wanted to specifically change the height of it to a certain number, I could uncheck maintain aspect ratio, and I could set this to 9 as well. I have the density and fill pattern turned on, preview, and what it did then, it actually made the stitch out 9 by 9 inches without losing any of the quality of the fill pattern whatsoever. It's a really cool feature on this. Now remember, this started out as a almost a one by 1 inch little embroidery, and now it's 9 inches by 9 inches. You can do this with any embroidery file you bring in to palette, including those built into your machine. This is a very, very, very powerful little tool right here. As simple as it is, the little size icon, it's one of the most powerful things in palette is this little box.